Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shri Mahaperiyava Sharanam. Kaveri bed is known for its speciality. Its mud, people, cattle are all unique. Its surrounding areas like Kumbakonam, Tiruchi, and all the villages are filled with greenery. Such a serene village is Kalatur. There is a beautiful temple of goddess Parameshwari, Durga Parameshwari, in Kalatur. Though it was a small temple, all functions and pujas will be performed regularly. The head priest was a very sincere man and his life was dedicated to serve the goddess. He was a very nice man. During 9 days of Navaratri or Dasera, he will spend a lot and perform pujas, Naivedya in a grand scale. They will prepare prasad in big vessels and will distribute to the large crowd coming from nearby villages. This head priest had 8 children, 5 sons and 3 daughters. None of them were married. The youngest son, Ramani, was very small then. One day, suddenly, the head priest expired. The whole family was devastated. But his wife took the situation as a challenge and praying to Goddess for support, she somehow managed the family. She sold gold, silver, copper items as and when required and married off her 3 daughters in a very simple way. She educated her sons. She was expecting that once her eldest son finishes his college, he will take responsibility of the household. But that dream never became reality. As soon as he finished his studies, he waved a goodbye to his mother and brothers and went away searching his livelihood. Similarly, remaining 3 brothers went off one by one after their studies, leaving their mother and the youngest brother, Ramani, in chaos. Ramani was then in 9th standard. They had neck-deep loan that their mother had taken to educate her sons. They left the upper portion of their property for rent, and with that amount, they used to fill their stomach and pay the loan little by little. Ramani stopped his studies and started working in a grocery shop in their village. He gave his salary to his mom to pay the debts. But the loan was so much that this meager amount was not sufficient. When the loan lenders were shouting, Ramani felt very sad and started crying. That night, his mom had a dream. Mahaperiyava came in her dream and said, "After your husband's death, you forgot Navaratri, Golu, and me. Send your son immediately to me." She was shocked. She immediately woke Ramani, who was sleeping nearby, and said, "Ramani, Periyava came in my dream. He asked you to come and meet him immediately." Ramani said, "Amma, Periyava is somewhere in north. How will I go there and come? What will I do for my journey's expense?" But both mom and son believed that since Periyava has only invited, he himself will show a way. Next morning, their tenant, Mr. Sharma, visited them. He and his wife are very good people. They will be very supportive to Ramani and his mom. He said, "Amma, tomorrow we are going on a yatra to North India. We won't be available for 2 months. So please take this rent for 2 months in advance." With tears, she took the money and narrated what Periva has told in her dream to him. She said, "I was wondering how to arrange the money, but Periva has arranged it through you. Can you please inquire where is Periva's camp now?" Mr. Sharma immediately called out, "Vembu, can you please come here?" A man in middle age came and stood in front of him. Mr. Sharma introduced him as his brother's son. He is one of the attendant of Mahaperiyava. He always stays with Mahaperiyava. Occasionally, he visits us. Tomorrow, he is going to Mahaperiyava. If you want, you can send Ramani along with him. Both mom and son started crying. This was the next sweet shock for them. Pereva did not stop by instructing Ramani to come. He arranged for his expense, also a person for the company, with all safety and security. Vembu said, "That is Mahaperiyava. There is no end to his divine leelas." Ramani went to Pereva with Vembu. They completed their bath and went for darshan. Vembu made him stand in the end of a long queue and said, "Ramani, I have some work inside. You follow this line. You can meet Periyava when your turn comes. Don't be scared. You can tell him all your desires fearlessly. Okay, don't be scared. After darshan, come and meet me inside." Saying this, Vembu went off. Ramani was shocked seeing the huge queue. He was wondering if there is any shortcut to meet Periyava, but he did not figure out any. He thought to himself, "Since Vembu Mama has asked me to follow the queue, I will wait for my turn." He closed his eyes and started chanting Hara Hara Shankara Jaya Jaya Shankara. Immediately, someone patted him from behind and asked, "Are you Ramani?" He said yes. The man said, "Come with me, Mahaperiyava is calling you." Ramani did not understand head or tail of what was happening. The attendant pulled him through the crowd and made him stand right in front of Mahaperiyava. Seeing Periyava so close, Ramani was filled with multiple emotions and he started crying loudly. Periyava said, "Ramani, why are you crying? What happened? Don't cry," in a very compassionate voice. Hearing that, he started weeping more loudly. He explained his entire situation in middle of his sobs. He told about his brothers, sisters. He said that they have a loan of 80,000. They can't even sell their house because knowing their poverty, people are quoting very less price for their house. He said all these to Periyava and started crying again. Periyava listened patiently and said softly, "Don't cry. Wipe your eyes. Listen to me carefully. Now, you're not keeping dolls or golu for Navaratri, right?" Ramani said, "Yes, Periyava. After my father's demise, my mother stopped everything. We don't have the money also to do everything." Periyava said, "See, child, you need not do in a grand way like your father. You need not prepare huge vessels of prasad. But we should never stop the tradition. You can keep a small golu and pray to the goddess wholeheartedly. You need not even prepare any prasad." Saying this, he pulled a bamboo plate near him, took sugar candy and dates packet from that plate and gave it to Ramani, saying, "Ask your mother to keep this as prasad for 9 days. Navaratri is starting day after tomorrow. If you start from here now only, you can reach tomorrow and make all preparations for Golu." Saying this, he whispered something to an attendant. The attendant immediately said, "Ramani, take these packets and keep it with you. Prostrate to Mahaperiyava and get ready for your return." Hearing this, Ramani was very disappointed. In his ignorance, he said, "What, Periyava? Did you make me come so long and meet you to return immediately?" He was very sulky. Hearing him, Periyava smiled softly and signaled to the attendant to take him to Vembu. He gathered his belongings and prasad and went to Vembu crying all the way. When Vembu heard what happened, he asked, "Child Ramani, is this the way you talk to Periyava? You asked for this only, you made me come all the way, it seems. In that this only, there would be 1,000 reasons which only Periyava knows. Now have your lunch and start. Periyava has given you 2 sets of dhoti. You are a very blessed child, Ramani. You have Mahaperiyava's complete blessings." As Vembu kept telling more about Periyava, Ramani started feeling even bad that he couldn't spend more time with such a Mahatma. Vembu continued, "I have kept the sugar candy, dates, and dhotis in this bag. Have this money for your return journey." Saying this, he gave a few 100 rupee notes. "One of my relative will come along with you. He will drop you home. You can travel safely." Ramani reached home safely. Seeing Ramani, his mom was wondering how he is back so soon and started asking him a volley of questions about his visit. Ramani explained in detail. His mom said, Periva himself has told you. Take those dolls from the rooftop. Small steps are also there. Take that also. What else did Periva say? Did he tell when our poverty will decrease? No, Amma. He did not say anything about that. He only spoke about Navaratri Golu and Puja. They took all the dolls and arranged it, kept mango leaves in the entrance, drew rangoli with rice flour, and started the puja next day. Ramani's mom felt very peaceful, but Ramani was anxious about something. While taking the dolls, he had seen something else there, wrapped very carefully in a silk cloth. He climbed up again, took it, and slowly unwrapped, and saw 4 or 5 Olai Chuvadigal, that is, palm leaf inscriptions. It looked very old. When his mom was wondering what that was, Ramani said, Amma, I will go to Periyava now itself and give this. Saying this, he started immediately and went to Mahaperiyava. He was not anxious like last time. Now he was very calm, though his financial situation was still the same. He did not understand himself how he is so calm and steady. There was no much crowd. Periyava was sitting in one corner. There was a 60-year-old man standing in front of him and discussing something very seriously. He was telling, I have contacted famous astrologers, upanyasakas, and even archaeologists for this. Nobody has an answer. Don't know who has hidden this treasure. I am wondering if someone burnt it or threw it away without knowing its worth. If I get a small clue of where it is, I am even ready to beg in front of that person. I am ready to spend lakhs for this. When the man was telling this despondently, Ramani peeped. Periyava saw him and said, Child Ramani, come, come. Ramani was so excited that in 2 jumps he stood in front of Periyava. He said, Periyava, we kept Golu in our house as you said. But when I was taking the dolls, I found this. Saying this, he showed the silk cloth to Mahaperiyava. Periyava said, give it to that mama. Ramani gave it to that man. Periyava said to him, You were searching for something all over the country for so many years, right? This is only that thing. Take it. The man was so shocked that he started crying loudly. He said, Periyava, it's not even been 10 minutes since I told you my problem and you solved it. I have never seen a Karuna Murti like you. Saying this, he took bundles of currency from his bag, kept it in a bamboo plate in front of him. Periyava, for this priceless thing, I have offered a simple amount that I can. Periyava should ask the child to accept it. Periyava said, Ramani, there is an amount of 2 lakhs in this plate. Take it and give 50 rupees to this mama as he does not have enough money for his return journey also. The man asked, I never mentioned 2 lakhs. How did Periyava know the exact amount? Ramani also asked in a childish way, Yes, Periyava, without counting, how do you know? Periyava smiled and said, Okay, now take this amount and keep it safe. Vembu Mama will accompany you home. Have lunch and go safely. He lifted both his hands, which knows only to bless, and blessed him abundantly. They came home, paid off all their debts of 80,000. He set up a small grocery shop near his home and started his business honestly. Later, he married Mr. Sharma's daughter as per Periyava's instructions. Carefree life, frequent Periyava's darshan. What more one wants? He led a very simple life by doing regular charity and annadanam as per Periyava's advice. Jai Jai Shankara, Hara Hara Shankara.